morning, welcome back to another video, and today is another day of the 0 to Gold Cap Challenge. Now to stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today let's go over what has actually happened throughout the week, so to speak. And there has been two major things that have happened this week, and that is Worth It just hit 200,000 downloads. Yes, Worth It has 200,000 downloads. I actually didn't think that this would actually happen. When I first actually made Worth It, I always thought, oh yeah, I'll be happy if I get like a few thousand downloads. Damn, it's grown quite big. Yeah, so looking at it, it's like, damn. So 200,000 downloads for Worth It. So happy right now. The other thing, however, is 20,000 subscribers. We hit that yesterday. I got home from work and I was like, oh my god. Yeah, we hit 20,000 subscribers. What the hell? It's like a complete one after the other at this moment in time of just continuous awesomeness. And I just want to thank everyone, to be honest. Take this short little segment of saying thank you very much for enjoying Worth It and enjoying the content and all that jazz, because I don't actually say it all that much. But here's the thing, 20,000 subscribers, 200,000 downloads. Worth It and the YouTube is growing like crazy at the moment, and I'm so happy just by looking at everything going about. I'm like always looking at like the analytics to see how many people we've actually gained every single like hour. I just like refresh the screen every single time. I'm just like, yeah, I'm a little bit addicted to that. Maybe need to ease up on that. But aside from that, I thought it would be a great time, now that we've hit 200,000 downloads, 20,000 subscribers, that I should do a Q&A. So that being the case, let's just jump into question number 1, which is from Gatherburr, and he said, how basically get rich quick without boosting / legacy raids. Go. Basically, how do you get rich without boosting and doing legacy raids? Yeah, you've got a few options. It depends, because you said get rich quick. Yeah, that is a little bit of an issue right there, because you're not going to be able to get rich quick. The get rich quick scheme on pretty much even in life and in gold making is usually, yeah, it's not the case. You probably want the gold right now, mate, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a long game as opposed to a short game, because that is just the general gist of how gold making really does work. If you wanted to make it as fast as you possibly could, then go with gathering and just put in your time for gold, for instance. Just gather up as many materials hour by hour, and sell them. That's probably the best way you're going to get gold super quickly without doing legacy raids and boosting. Mainly due to the fact of you've just completely cut off all of the raw gold potential to that and all of the boosting raw gold. So basically what I'm actually saying is you're probably going to want to go with gathering on that one, and overall I would highly recommend just setting yourself up for a long-term game so you can actually just pull in gold regularly, and then you wouldn't actually have to worry about getting rich quick, because you will always have gold coming in. That's generally what I like to do and has worked throughout the years, is just set myself up for regular gold, and then I don't ever have to worry about having gold or spending it or what have you. So what I'd recommend there is don't worry about getting rich quick, because as soon as you get the gold you'll probably spend it if you get it like super quickly. Another way is, why don't you just buy a token if you want to get rich quick? Because at the end of the day, the gold making and gold farming, or / gold farming, is pretty much a long game if you want to make a lot of gold and not really a get rich quick scheme. So that being the case, let's just jump over to question number 2, which is from one of my guides, Lucya, and she has asked, at $GG, how do I win my T3 chest? And that was through the black market auction house. A little bit extra on the actual question as well, but I only took that screenshot of that. So winning stuff on the black market auction house, it is primarily a case of how much gold you want to spend and also the time in which you actually bid. I do love sniping on the black market auction house, so that's maybe something you want to look into. Pretty much what I like to do is I go on to the black market auction house, I camp it, have a look, see what the duration is left for the black market auction house. If it's on a short, I will then start bidding, and if it's on a long, then I won't bother bidding until it's on a short timer left, and then I will start putting in my gold, because then I can reduce the amount of gold I'm actually bidding, and by that time I also have a higher chance of actually winning it, instead of posting my bid when it's at a long and then not getting it at all. So what I tend to do is just camp it and look for what the duration is and how much gold it actually is to invest, because it all really depends on how much you're willing to pay for it, and if you want to win a bid, it's usually go with the short duration on it. So that was probably the best way I would approach getting hold of a T3 chest. Now, coming in at question number 3, do you do any open world transmog farms? Yes, I do actually. I do like the one that is in Winter Spring, which is the Yeti Cave. That one's usually for the Jade plate. That one is usually for like the Jade gear, and you can get loads of other different types of stuff from there, but I prefer it because you have a chance of getting the Azure Whelpling while in Winter Spring, and I do generally love selling a few battle pets at the moment, and the Azure Whelpling has always been a very good one, as well as getting a hold of my Jade leg plates and all of my other Jade types of gear from those Yetis as well. That aside, if you do bring a skinner, you are also able to skin the mobs, so you can actually get some materials as well. So it's kind of like a massive combi farm. The other transmog farms that I would recommend is the one in the Burning Steppes, I believe, and that one is the packs of mobs. There's like 4 packs and they instantly respawn. I believe Student did a video on that like a couple of weeks ago. But that one's a pretty good one as well to do. And also I do enjoy doing the Wetlands one, which is the one for the Crimson Whelpling as well, and that is mainly because it gives you loads of materials and all that stuff. I really enjoy doing that one. And the last one that I can think of off the top of my head is literally going over to Tanan Jungle, going over to where all of the orcs are and just running around the area murdering them all, because they actually give you quite a lot of the greens, which are transmog items, which I can then sell on the auction house for a pretty penny, because those transmog items do tend to sell rather well, the WOD ones in particular. Okay, and there is another one here from Reckoner, and this one, it was like a generalized one towards everyone when I posed the question for the Q&A, but it was, hey, anyone here know how to set up Worth It with leather and cloth vendor shuffles? Okay, so I just wanted to address this in the Q&A. We are in the future, not in this build that is in beta at the moment, but in the future we are going to be fitting in a flippings module in which you can actually do this type of stuff. So pretty much what I'm saying is, please wait and we will build something in there for you to do. But there is a way you could do it right now, and that is by going into Worth It and going into my farms, you could always set up one of these things, such as how I do the Silithus mining to alchemy. So if I pull that open right now, say I did an hour's worth of farming for mining thorium ore and Silithus, and then all I do is I change all of the items once I've turned them into Arcanite bars with my alchemist, and then add them back in and remove the ones that we used, and then that gives me the leftovers for the actual gold per hour. That's how I tend to do it with it at the moment, but in the future there will be a flipping module that will be implemented, but that won't be in this iteration of it for version 4. It will be in a later date, as and when we have the time in order to build that sort of module in, so please bear with. Now the next one is from Tyrannicar. He has asked, your thoughts on Shadowlands, professions and roster lineup for gold making for the FAQ. Okay, so Shadowlands, I am planning on doing a video going over all of the Shadowlands professions and which ones I'm going to rank for that. So like my prediction for Shadowlands professions going into it. But I can tell you for one thing, looking at it, I know what I'll be leveling first, which will give you a good indicator on what professions that I am going to be starting off with. Number 1 is my Alchemist and Inscription character. This is because Inscription always pulls in stupid amounts of gold no matter what expansion it is, along with Alchemy because all the pots and flasks are always in high demand. So I always go with that as my staple number 1 character. So that'll be my rogue. I'll be leveling him first in order to get a hold of all of my inscription stuff and my potions for alchemy and all that jazz and rank it up as fast as possible. That is because I want to reduce the cost, but also when an expansion has actually dropped, if you are the first one to get all of your ranks and get ahead of the game than any other gold maker, then you have a high potential of making some stupid amounts of profit when you're actually doing that. The next things of note that I will be focusing on after that is my druid, who we're on right now. She'll be doing her mining and herbalism. That's mainly for mat creation in order to double down on all of that, because the materials will be going into that and all that jazz. So that's something that I would be going about. The next thing of note is my enchanter and my tailor, and that is because enchants sell for insane amounts of gold upon the beginning of an expansion, and tailoring of course, because obviously you can do different types of shuffles with tailoring and enchanting, and that would be with my mage. So they're my 3 that I'm really focusing on, is enchanting, tailoring, alchemy, inscription, mining and herbalism. They are my 3 mains that I'll be doing, and I'll be primarily focusing on alchemy and inscription as well as my herbalism to supplement those. So that is basically what I'll be doing, and all of the other ones will be coming slower than the others, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to not max those out, because I definitely will. So hopefully that answers your question right there. That being the case, at question number 6 we have from Rasta Wayne, it's looking like weapon enchants will be on use in Shadowlands, right? Do you think that will make crafting professions like smithing for the weapons stones valuable based off this alone? Also, do you think inscription will be rep locked again? Okay, so I spend a lot of time with inscription, and yes, I do actually think that inscription will be rep locked. I'm actually going into it with the already established idea that it will be rep locked on a lot of its different types of stuff, so I am planning on putting a lot more hours into my rogue than I would than any of my other characters. That is because throughout the last few expansions it has been a grind to get all of those different types of things, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was rep locked, especially in like BFA when it was all like the majority of it was rep locked. So I'm going into there with the preconceived notion that it will be rep locked as well. So I've got as much clue as you, but I'm just going to weigh up the pros and cons. So even if I'm going to go in there with it saying, yeah, it most likely will be rep locked, but if it isn't rep locked, then happy days, I can just crack on and get on. But along with that, when it comes to enchanting weapons for the weapon stones, all that stuff, and when it comes to the enchanting question, basically enchanting is always severely profitable no matter what profession you're actually doing, no matter what expansion you're actually playing on. Enchanting's always been a high ticket thing. I think it's going to be high, and I don't think it's not going to be a high valued profession to actually have, hence why I'm leveling it 3rd out of all of my professions and all that stuff and all of my characters, so to speak. So that is something that I will say. I say enchanting, if you want to go down the enchanting route, it's probably to get a best grip of it, and it's always very profitable at the beginning of an expansion. So if you want to do it, then I would suggest do it. But with inscription, that is where I prefer to be. Now, that being the case, coming in at question number 7 is it worth doing your weekly island expeditions? Weekly island expeditions, for me personally, no, I'm not really interested in them. To be honest, I don't enjoy them, so I won't do them. That's straightforward, so to speak. Yeah, I'm just not interested in island expeditions. I don't think they're worth doing. You can get some cool stuff from there, but other than that, not my cup of tea. So yeah. To be honest, it depends. Weigh it up with your pros and cons. What do you want from your island expeditions? And then see if it's worth the time invested. So say you wanted a mount from an island expedition, weigh up how many you would have to do in order to get there, and just be like, what could I do other than that to get something else, or something that I just weigh up the pros and cons to it. But personally for me, I find them tedious and boring and not worth doing. So I think overall I find it to be a very bad investment of time, so to speak, for myself. But obviously don't let that change your mind if you really want to do them. But other than that, guys, that is pretty much the Q&A. I'm pretty much a happy young man at this moment in time, mainly due to the fact that we hit 20,000 subscribers and 200,000 downloads. I don't think I mentioned that. And yeah, overall this is more like just a more casual day where I'm just happy about it all, and I thought I would relax a little, if you know what I'm saying, just like chilling. Because it is a massive grind doing daily stuff, so but obviously I set the challenge for myself, so yeah. But overall, I'm really happy on the way things are turning out. I'm now setting my sights on 30,000 subscribers now, because what's the point without setting another goal? And when it comes to worth it, I'm going to aim for 500,000. Now let's just hit another, hit 300,000. I like having goals, so I'm just going to set those as the new targets: 30,000 subs and 300,000 downloads. We'll just go with that. But other than that, guys, thank you all so much for your support and all of that jazz. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow.